Okay, another week, another update video. I just got out of the shower for this one, so that's why I'm in my pajamas. My face is red because I just washed it. But before this, I was on the exercise bike, so I didn't want to come in here all sweaty looking. So here I am. And this is my new laptop, which I took time on my last day off to get all set up. Well, not all set up. I still have to do um, like get some of the programs installed. Basically, I took time on my day off to do the all the basic setup because anytime you get something like this, if you're rushing, it's really annoying because it's like Windows first has to install everything, then it wants to update, and then the first time you puts a new piece of software on there, it wants to do something with that. There's just always bumps that come up. So I got a lot of it out of the way, but I still have to get Audacity installed on there, and I use an older version, so I've got to make sure I get that one. And that's one of the things I'm going to be doing tonight. Basically, getting everything ready tomorrow. And I plan to get up early tomorrow and get working on all this and get everything ready so I'm not jumping through a bunch of hoops. I'm just ready to go and record. And then also, I have a whole bunch of scripts that my brother has gone through and he sort of um, made his edits to them, and then I just have to comb over them again and kind of read them out loud and make sure they flow well, and also just kind of go through them. So when I'm recording them, it's not the first time I've read them. It will just help there won't be as many need for as many revisions and re-recordings. So I was hoping tonight to get to working on writing a final draft of a script. It's for a video that I think will do really well. Even it's going to come out in maybe even September, but I'm hoping it will do really well. So I was excited to work on that one, but I think all this recording stuff's just going to take up my time tonight. And I'm really excited to get back to actually recording now that I have this new laptop. Really hoping everything goes smoothly tomorrow. And there's still some messing with that old laptop I've got to do. But with this, with my main computer, I should be all working on new hardware, and I want to be work. I want to start working more on getting this room set up and figure out how to turn this into a recording area. Um, but everything's going pretty well right now. Uh, I haven't been doing work on as much work on getting this set up as I would like to. Like I said, getting other surfaces in here and getting more things in here altogether. I really haven't made. I think it was Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Was it Thursday? There was some day I wanted to set aside to basically work on doing the studio, and that hasn't come about yet. But as far as working consistently on the channel, it's been really good lately. And it has come at the expense of some of my sleep, but I do get a lot of sleep on my days off. And it's weird too. I feel sometimes when I don't get as much sleep, but I get up early, I actually feel really good on that energy. Like even if it's a little bit manic, I feel like I just want to go out and conquer the world. So if it works, it works. Um, but I do want to work on the studio more, get that in the flow. It's just there's a whole lot of different things, and I'm the main person doing the bulk of it. I do have my brother helping me out, but I'm doing the bulk of it. And that gets to one other thing I wanted to touch on with this journal is that I did have someone contact me through my YouTube channel, not this one, but the one I actually do the videos on, and he uh, he was basically like, "Hey, I would like to help out with the channel," and he wanted to do video editing. And as this journal's already getting longer than I wanted it to be, I'm not going to go too much in depth. And also because I haven't thought about how I want to approach this yet. It's weird. I've discussed before that I've had this approach of just jumping into things. Because even though if it doesn't turn out the best in the long run, it's the only way I can get myself going. But I feel like at this point I have enough stability and enough confidence in myself, at least in certain things, that I don't have to be so reckless and trigger happy. And already, if someone's asking you, hey, I would like to do work for you, it feels kind of weird saying it's a position of power, but it's sort of like, a better way to put it is I don't feel like I'm in a position of weakness for once, where it's like, oh wow, this is kind of neat. But there's also just in myself where I'm like, well, I don't feel like I'm in a position of weakness with myself, at least not as much as before, where I can be like, well, I want to actually think about this. I'm not just going to be like, yeah, this could really help me and jump into it, or like, well, no, this is no good. So it's basically something I want to think about more because as I've talked about in previous journals or some videos on this channel, that I like the idea of having people do work for me eventually, but I'm also aware that managing people is a very different thing, and it's something you want to think through first. But I think to a certain extent, if you do want to grow, unless you want to have a very, I don't mean this in a political sense, but a very conservative sort of small channel, at a certain point you'd have to, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but delegate stuff to other people, and at least to maybe reach your full potential. So it's something I want to think about. There's some things I want to be very careful about right away is making sure it's not a scam and just figuring out how do I navigate that and being as careful as possible. Just read up a whole bunch first, and it's I don't want to pretend like I'm like, oh yeah, I would never get scammed in this situation because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to that. I mean, the person I've worked with has been my brother, who I have a lifetime of experience with. I haven't worked with someone else outside of school projects and that. Not in this capacity. So it's just totally different, and I definitely don't want to be flippant about it. So really, I think one thing that's kind of good is that this guy would comment on my videos and community post for, I don't know, weeks, maybe even months, and he was basically like, hey, I want a way to get in touch with you. And there were a few of his comments that I just missed and I hadn't got to, but eventually I told him, you can contact me on Patreon, and because I don't have a business email linked on the channel, which I probably should. It's just I didn't think this far down the road or in this kind of direction. And then after that, I think it, for some reason, maybe couldn't figure out how to get message me on Patreon, which it is a little confusing if you don't. Patreon is not, everyone thinks of Patreon as this thing you just have attached to your main channel, but which would be nice, but Patreon, I think, likes to think of themselves as their own entity that people really get invested in, so it's not the most friendly if you're just jumping in. But he did then message me on Patreon, and There were some things I didn't like about the way the message read, but if this, even if this is a legitimate person, I remember being in that situation where I didn't know how to word things the best, and you kind of you speak to someone you want to work for, and so I think that's you don't want you don't expect perfection right off the bat. And there's some other things I want to talk about with this, but I'll just wrap it up there. It'll be something that'll come up in more of these journals. But things have been going very good this week. I am really looking forward to getting more sleep, but unfortunately, I still have work to do tonight. So we'll see how it goes or how it's going by the next journal.